Today, Mayor Sylvester Turner toured neighborhoods across Houston that were decimated by Harvey. Cashmere Gardens, Meyerland, Kingwood, Independence Heights. He knocked on doors and met with families who are still displaced because of the flooding.
Even though 90% of Houston moved forward, going forward, not impacted, so to speak, there's still a lot of people who are in homes or not in their homes, still impacted, still having to deal with it. And it's not just the brick and mortar, it's not just the walls or the floors, it's also that emotional, mental aspect to it.
Turner told those still hoping to move back into their homes more federal money is on the way and should be available in November.